Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, however it goes. I'm here at 7:30 a.m. on November the 15th. Can you believe anybody that it's actually November the 15th already? Whoa, time really goes fast as we get older, and it goes really faster when you retire. So all you people who are retired already, you know what I'm talking about. And for those of you who are not retired yet, believe me, you'll be surprised. You'll say, geez, I really thought that retirement was going to slow down the time. Well, it goes faster. All right. So, yeah, that's a kind of interesting little factoid for you as I get set here with my cup of tea. Today I have tea. I would say I haven't been drinking tea lately. We've got a whole bunch of teas. If you go in my kitchen and you look on my girlfriend, she got all kinds of teas in there. Today I picked one that said peppermint, and I've heard that peppermint is supposed to be good for you. So I have a peppermint tea here today. That's what I hear. Cheers. Peppermint tea tastes good. I usually drink. Lately, I've been drinking just water. You know, just warm water, hot water, I should say, with honey and lemon. But today I'm going for a peppermint tea, and I'll tell you, it really does taste good. At least it tastes like something. Most of the tea I've been drinking, green tea, etc., hasn't tasted like much. Yeah. So here we are, the morning time here, and we got Nick here, CD Man. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, CD Man. Andrew Wood. Wow, Andrew Wood says that Now and Then is heading for. I'm going to highlight this. Now and Then, the song, is heading for its second week at #1 in the UK. Now that's pretty. I didn't expect it to be there 2 weeks. 1 week, I thought it'd be there, 1 week, and so that's pretty good. Good morning to Stephen. Good morning to Mike. Indie Colt 777. Robbie is Detroit's Vinyl, and here we are. So what do you say, folks? What's going on this morning, huh? I've been up for about an hour and a half. I've had a little more time to be awake. An hour and 15 minutes. An hour and 15 minutes. And I did the whole 9 yards. I went in there, I shaved, showered. I got it all done early today. Which, I usually, I'm an early riser, but I don't usually shave and do a shower and stuff until, I don't know, 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. But got to get prepared for you guys. So here I am, you know. Okay, I was watching a review of the Billboard charts. Won't say the channel, but the guy panned the new Beatles song, saying it was one of the worst of the week. Well, hey, look, everybody's got their opinions, and no opinion is right or wrong. He's wrong. Okay, come on, give me a break. These people, they want to stand out. They want to be different. Oh, look at me. I don't like the Beatles song. Ooh, I'm a rebel. I'm going to go against the grain. Um, have I put my Christmas tree up yet? First of all, nah, nah, nah. Watch that. Because, I don't, I've said this before. I don't believe in starting Christmas music. And I don't believe in starting Christmas tree and decorations until at the very earliest, Black Friday. First, we eat a Thanksgiving dinner. And then the day after Thanksgiving, if you so desire, you put up your tree and that weekend, and that's all right with me. But before anything before Thanksgiving, no. And yeah, there you go. We put our tree up all year round. Can't be bothered to take it down. Yeah, I know that. We actually, I got to tell you, we actually haven't had we always put a Christmas tree up, right? But the last 3 years, 4 years, maybe since COVID, we have not put a tree up here. Well, just it's been kind of gloomy around here. But not just that. It's crowded. My living room is crowded. There is literally no room for a tree right now. That's how crowded it is in the living room. Good morning to Woodland Goblin. It's always Woodland Goblin is a mainstay here. I really like this peppermint tea. I stopped drinking tea because every time I was drinking the tea, no matter what kind of tea it was, caffeinated, decaffeinated, green tea, regular Lipton's tea, Earl Grey tea. No matter what kind of tea I had, I was getting like belching and like, bloating and unsettlement. Um, Dino, my girlfriend is always doing good. There is really no need for you to ask. I appreciate you asking every single day, but my girlfriend is doing fantastic, and so am I, if you care. So thank you, Dino. But it's not necessary, my friend. It's not necessary. So that's an interesting comment. If it was a Beatles Christmas tree, you'd find the room in your place for it. Except that no, I wouldn't buy a Beatles Christmas tree, so it's a moot point. Do you think they could enhance the Beatles Christmas song? Well, the one, if you're talking about Christmas Time is Here Again, I would like them to put out a longer version of it. There's a longer version of Christmas Time is Here Again that would be very, very much fun. And I know they say a lot of things in the background. There's one point where they say, Christmas time is here again. You hear John go, fa la 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 la, Christmas time is here again. Fa la 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 la, Christmas time. I mean, and they didn't use that part, you know. B-sides, hello. We did a tree full of 45s one year. It was fun and different. Wow, did you have lights on there? Because I would imagine if the lights get hot, maybe the records would melt. Peppermint tea, that's what I got here once more. Peppermint tea, and we'll see how we do. We'll see if peppermint tea gives me any problems, because I've heard that peppermint tea is good for that sort of thing. Stomach, agita. So let's see what the story is there. And for one thing, let me get this spoon out of here. I've got a spoon here that I'm kind of drinking here. I'm drinking with the spoon in it. Do you like a full breakfast? What's a full breakfast? I don't eat a. I mean, breakfast is different for me. If I go out to eat, if I go out to eat, say at a restaurant or a diner, I'll have eggs. Sometimes I like a full breakfast, sometimes not. Let's leave it at that. Who's my favorite actor in The Godfather? Um, the original Godfather, the first Godfather. I'm gonna go with Marlon Brando, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, little lights don't get that hot on the tree, and the records I used were old kids' records that were kind of overloved, so it was all good. You didn't put any rare Beatles 45s up there from different countries, did you? There you go. So, what's going on, everybody? Here we are. Let's go. Let's go. I know things start picking up around 9 a.m. It's about 7:38 a.m. here right now, and 9 a.m. unfortunately is when I got to start getting going here. I'm thinking of an idea of possibly instead of coming on here at 7:30, I'm thinking of coming on here at 8 a.m. Eastern and going to 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm thinking of maybe doing that. We'll see how it goes. Starting a little later and then finishing a little later, but we'll see. So, yes, indeed. No, no, don't put any Beatles rare singles up there on that tree. That's for sure. You don't want to warp those things or ruin them. So, what's the good word, folks? All right, what's a good word? I got nothing really to say. When you do this every single day, which I've been doing lately, you know, um, when you do it every single day, you don't have a lot of things to say. Here we go. Wait a minute here. Okay, see that there, Archie Bunker for president. And with that, I'll put in, hey there, little guy. Oh, geez, yeah. Wait a minute, yeah, meathead. All right, there you go. There's a little Archie. Will there be another record store video? I'd like to keep on doing record store videos. It's just a matter of getting footage because Joe's not feeling well. Although yesterday, I mean, I say Joe's not feeling well. He looks great, and he he seems great to everybody else. I don't know how he's feeling inside. But yesterday, little Don came into the record store, and Joe started, having a little banter back and forth with Don, and I recorded it. It was fine. So yeah, I think that you know, I think we're going to be definitely. I'll get record store videos as I can. I just don't have. I'm not. I don't go there as much as I used to. I don't go there physically, and plus I'm waiting for Joe to be more into it, which I think he is actually. Now this really pisses me off. Too, Marcus. My Bloody Blue album set is warped and has to go back. Pissed off. Yeah, I haven't tried mine yet. I haven't tested mine out yet. And I'm really wondering because a lot of people are saying that their records are warped. There is no damn excuse for that in this day and age. No damn excuse for it. These records are like, I think these things are like $75 each. It's ridiculous. How far do I live from the city? Well, it depends if you're gonna walk or drive. No, by car, I'd say I'm about an hour and change, hour and a half, maybe. Yeah, I'm very fortunate to have a record store like my regular record store. Very, very much. Still can't find the Hackney Diamond CD, huh? Yeah. Yep. I don't know why that's so elusive. I don't understand that at all. She is. So, hi everybody out there. What's on your so-called minds? Um, no, I mean, that's a funny line. I say every time I say that, I feel guilty because it's a put-down line, and it's from a movie called Stakeout with Richard Dreyfuss and Emilio Estevez and the gorgeous Madeline Stowe. Oh man, she was beautiful then. Oh my God, what a brunette. Um, you don't see my inner light on. I might be. I don't know what you mean by that. What do you think of Charlie Watts as a drummer? Great. Charlie Watts of the Rolling Stones was a great drummer. I'm a dreaming. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Oh yeah. Down, down, down. Does anybody what this? Anybody? The first one who knows what this song is. Am I dreaming? Dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah. Down, 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 down. Anybody know what song that is? Nobody's gonna know what it is. But if you do, you win a prize. You win an okay sign for me. Seems a little darker in the room. Yes, I have a. Yes, it is. I try to leave it like this because it's the morning. I have the blinds open here. I want the natural sun to come through a little bit, and I have a little lamp up here. See, if I shut off the lamp, then it's really dark. You see, this is what it is with just the blinds open with the sun. And if I turn on the little lamp here, it gets a little more light. I do have um, what do you call it? Damn it, a like a floor lamp on this corner that I usually have more lights on. Yes, 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 yes. But anyway, hi James. What a ripoff those prices were for this new Beatles project. I refuse to pay it. Can't afford it anyway. But I just feel they are having us off. 75 UK pounds for the album. No way, sorry. No, I hear you, it's expensive. What do you I don't know what to say. There are three records. I mean, these days one record is like $30. So if you think about it that way, a one record set sometimes is, even if you say it really makes sense in a way because one record is at least $25, maybe 30, maybe 40. And if you have three, do the math. 25 times three is 75. You know, and if it's higher than that, If it's 30, it could be 90. I have yet to see the Beatles single in any shop in Scotland. I'm gutted. Sorry to hear that, Rory. Steven says, did you ever warp any of your vinyl records? We had a Sony Music Center in the 70s. I learned the hard way not to leave a record on the turntable when the radio or tape deck was on. I don't think so. Not that I can recall. I have a memory where wh- when I was a kid, my younger sister was into disco, and I remember she was in the basement, and they had a lamp, and they wanted to kind of dim it, make it look like a discotheque. So they took my Jaws, of all things, they took my vinyl Jaws record from '75. They took the record, the disc, and they put it on top of the lampshade to kind of like dim the lights. And of course, idiots, it warped. It's okay. It's been replaced. I have a really nice copy of the Jaws soundtrack now. But there's a story. Uh, do you plan to buy the U.S. Beatles single on CD? Yes, I do. I'm not going crazy. I mean, I'm not ordering it online or anything, but how did you get affiliated with the Talk More Talk crew? Okay, well, I used to watch Talk More Talk myself, and I liked the show. And I think what happened was Tom Hunyadi reached out because, well, Tom Hunyadi, I think, he used to come on and like this, in the comments and talk to me. And I think he realized that I'd be a good fit, that I knew a lot of stuff. I knew a lot about the solo Beatles. I love the solo Beatles. And I think he also liked the fact that I did that infamous video. And I'll show you the infamous video. I forgot that I have it here, so I could kind of show it to you. This is the little video that I did. It's an old video, and he liked this. Now this album, I just can't take it. Press to play. I kind of tore up the album cover, and I had the record, and I like cracked the record, broke the record in half too. So he thought that was kind of fun, and I think he liked the contrast. Hey, that I could be a little bit of, a little salty. And then, meanwhile, at the same time, I'd been going to the Fest for Beatles fans in 2019, and Kid O'Toole was there and Ken Michaels, and we talked, and they could see that Kit got to know me and like me, I think, and they got to see that I liked the solo Beatles and I knew a lot of stuff. But I also think, and I really believe this, I think that also they knew let's face it, I'm not bragging here, I'm just saying the truth. I did have a good audience. I had a good audience. I had a lot of people. So combine the fact that I'm willing to tear up an album if I don't like it. That's kind of interesting take. The fact that I know a lot of stuff, and I had then at the Beatle Fest, they could see I had a following. A lot of people would come up to me and they'd say, "Hey, Mr. Mayo, hey, can I take a picture with you?" And they Kit witnessed this. I think that's everything combined. But sorry I took so long to get to your comment, Alan. You were here for a while. Good morning. I bought the red album set from Walmart. Believe it or not, they had a sale price of just the red for some reason, but not the blue. Okay, well, did you see? Is it warped? I hope not. A lot of people are having being warped. What is your favorite actor who played in Frankenstein movies? I guess I gotta be boring and go with Boris Karloff. That's everybody's name. Boris Karloff is the best Frankenstein monster. Although I did really like Glenn Strange, who played the monster in some of the Universal films. To tell you the truth, I liked his look and his appearance. I bought the CDs of the new Beatles albums. I refuse to pay that much for the vinyl. Like I said, it is very expensive, but when you consider that a single CD is at least $25, maybe $30. Excuse me, a single vinyl album these days is $25 to $30. Multiply it by three, you know. I don't like the honey. I don't like the honeymooners. I love the honeymooners. Uh, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Santi. All right. So here we are, taking a little break for a cup of peppermint tea. Okay, okay, okay. So we're caught up in the comments. We have 50 people here. Thank you all for being here. Press the like button, please. Press the thumbs up. That helps me a lot. Much appreciated. And if you would like to give a tip, give to the tip jar, that's available too. Not required, but it's always appreciated. I played all three records. None of them were warped. That's fantastic. Great to hear that. By the way, Alan, I think I heard you say somewhere that you're thinking twice. You may not go to the Fest for Beatles fans this year. I hope you're going to make it at least for one day, because I still would like to give you that Pete Best picture, autograph. And what you have to do is, again, don't forget, you got to remind me the day of. What's my favorite episode of The Odd Couple? There are many. I don't know if I have one. One of them is when they're on Password. They appear on the show Password. Another one is when Felix is afraid of flying. Another one is when Oscar walks in his sleep and beats Felix up in the middle of the night because he's subconsciously he's mad at Felix, so he beats him up when he's sleepwalking. Well, hits him on the head with a newspaper, a magazine, actually. But yeah, there were I like the one when they buy new furniture. I could go on forever. Uh, really like the new Beatles album, but the new mixes were really good though. I haven't heard I Am the Walrus yet. Yeah. I Am the Walrus. I don't mind the mix. All I hate is the radio play at the end, the very last end. The mix itself I can live with. Oh, the best Albert Hitchcock movie. The Birds is my favorite. I'm a horror guy, but there's a lot of great films. Shadow of a Doubt. I like Shadow of a Doubt. I like Rear Window. Yes, Security Arms Building. Another great Odd Couple episode. Security Arms Building. Yes, indeed. I like the one when Oscar saves Felix's life, and then Felix won't stop thanking him. Okay. Are you really here? Still nobody knows what song that is. I'm going to do it again. Uh, Night visions of fantasies. Down, 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 down. I lying in bed with me. I know I can't sing for shit. But anyway, I'm in the mood for that. Anybody know what song that is? No. Am I dreaming? Down, 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 down. Were you really here? Down, 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 down. I want to sing that until people know what it is. So you better not guess what it is, otherwise I'll keep singing and it'll bother you. So I definitely prefer Laurel and Hardy. I think they're much funnier than Abbott and Costello, but I like Abbott and Costello as well, for sure. Okay, it's 50-50 at this point. If my friend goes with me, I'll be most likely to go. It depends on the weather. Hopefully, there's zero chance of snow. From your lips to Mother Nature's ears. Really. Looks like Now and Then is hanging off the edge of the shelf. Well, it's not really hanging off. It's just, it's wedged in there fairly tight, but not too tight that it's going to ruin it. I got stuff behind it. It's secure up there. Just got the movie Notorious. Hey, there you go, Dexter. Dexter got it. I love that. I love that song. I love it. I was listening to that album again yesterday, Runaways Waiting for the Night, and I love that song. It's Lita Ford wrote it. It's Lita Ford and Joan Jett sings it. And man, do I love that vibe. I just love the aura of it, dreamy quality of it. And I love the guitar on it. I love the idea that these teenage girls, when I say teenage girls, but this time they're over 18. Like, I think Lita Ford is 19 and, Joan Jett's 19 probably. Um, but I love that they're actually able to play those guitars and drums. I love it. Have we heard of that song? Well, look it up. I want to get I think a lot of people might not like it, but it's a song right here. It's called Fantasies by the Runaways. Make sure it's the Runaways version. Make sure it's not Kitty. There's some heavy metal thing group Kitty that does a lesser version of it. Uh, yeah, you're talking about Roy Clark. Roy Clark, the amazing guitarist Roy Clark, is on an episode of The Odd Couple. That's good. Number one in my country, Austria, Ricardo says, officially since yesterday. Fantastic. I saw a video that Canadian Stud Muffin made where I was mentioned, but I don't remember which one that was, but I just saw one. Well, which video was it? I mean, I saw one. I saw one when he was talking about. I think when he was reviewing the Red and the Blue albums. That's the one I saw. My favorite Beatles compilation is probably Rock and Roll Music. I still go with Laurel and Hardy. The Three Stooges were always my number one, but as I get older, I'm starting not, think it's just, not as much. So I'll go with Laurel and Hardy. He reads viewer comments on the new I Am the Walrus. Oh, okay. Yeah. So does anybody? I want people who don't know this song, "Fantasies" by the Runaways, to tell me if they hate it or not, or if they like it. Honestly, be honest with it. You have to like that kind of music, kind of heavy rock. Okay, Martin's here, and Martin, I'm ready for you, Martin. But he says, "You saying that George was miserable, Beatle, or ungrateful? I couldn't agree more with." It's good when Martin and I agree. Martin, I'm going to give you a toast here. Okay, it's good when we agree. It's not a requirement. Yeah, George was in the band that got him his castle, and and he's ungrateful, and yeah, I can't stand that. You know, my least favorite member of the Three Stooges is the last third Stooge they got, Curly Joe. Curly Joe is my least favorite. Joe DeRita. I thought Stan and Ollie was a good movie. As far as I know, people have told me it's not accurate again, and I hate when they do biopics where they're showing you true stories allegedly, and there's fabrications and artistic liberties and things like that. I live the next town over from where Oliver Hardy grew up. He's from Harlem, Georgia. Yep, I definitely know he's a Georgia guy for sure. Definitely know that. Does the new ending of I Am the Walrus scare me? No. The original ending of I Am the Walrus, the original ending is scary and spooky. This one's just garbage. The Music Box was a good episode, a good short film for Laurel and Hardy. I think it even won. I think it even won an award. It's not my favorite though. I don't. Again, which one's my favorite? Don't even ask. I can't tell you. I don't know. Helpmates is one of them. Called Helpmates. I don't know. I like one called Tit for Tat. Cheers, folks. Yeah, every Thanksgiving here in the New York, New Jersey area, they always played March of the Wooden Soldiers every Thanksgiving. It's a tradition around here. They still play it. Channel 11 on in the New York area, New Jersey maybe. Do you think you'll do the show next week, Joe? What show are we talking about? This show? Do you mean will I keep on doing this? I don't know what we're referring to just yet. Hi, George. The Stooges were great when they had Curly and Shemp. Then they went off the rails. Those two were gone. Yeah, well, Shemp is my favorite. Curly is my second favorite. Joe Besser the third, and Curly Joe the fourth. But I still get a lot of laughs when you have Joe Besser. What do you think about silent horror movies, and what's your favorite? I like some of them, sure. I think my favorite silent horror movie is Phantom of the Opera with Lon Chaney. There's a really good movie with Conrad Veidt called The Man Who Laughs, which is was an inspiration for the character of the Joker, Batman. All in the Family, still the most cutting edge sitcom ever, still relevant today. I agree. Yeah, I've seen some of the Ted Healy Three Stooges movies, and I think they're pretty poor. I mean, I don't like Ted Healy. Ted Healy really stinks. Terrible. Oh, Canadian Stud Muffin and I talked about doing a show. Maybe we'll contact each other. Yeah, I said to him, Larry, we should really get together and do something. That would be nice. 72 tracks on Mind Games. Why so few? I was hoping for more. I'm sure you're being facetious. That's because that's a lot of tracks. Rolling Stones' Hackney Diamonds started at number 3. Now it's number 33. Dropping fast. Taylor Swift, 8 albums in, top 26 zombies. Exactly. Well, we've talked about this before. It doesn't mean a damn thing. Um, well, the albums being in there, if they're physical sales, it means a lot. you know. I mean, I don't want, because I think the Beatles' Red and Blue albums. From what I hear, the Blue album is on track to be number one in England. You know, so there you go. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Do you like the Mind Games video? I love that video. That's my favorite John Lennon video, the Mind Games video. However, originally, you probably know, that was actually Whatever Gets You Through the Night. That was actually a video for Whatever Gets You Through the Night. And it was reworked, and Yoko, I guess, reworked it to go with Mind Games. I like it much better as a Mind Games video, to tell you the truth. Uh, okay. George's guitar playing, I agree, he's miles off from the best ever, but he's still better than Paul and John. Okay, I don't agree, and we can disagree. I think Paul's a better guitar player, not John. John's not a better guitar player. Hey, Danny, what's going on? Taylor Swift is your new idol. Oh, join the club. Join the club. Are you going to the record show this Sunday? Is it worth it to pay extra? When I go there, I've never paid early to get. It's not worth it to pay early. But I'm not going to be able to go because I'm going to be stuck. Every time it really starts to irritate me because I miss those shows because it's another time I got to go to that school with my girlfriend. So unfortunately, I got to go there Sunday. Now, some Sundays I don't go. Some Sundays we don't have to go there, but it never properly coincides with the dates of the record shows. So let's put this in its full context. Let's go back to this and put it in there. Danny Ambrosi, the King of Chaos, says, "Good morning. Taylor Swift is my new idol." Then he writes, "Not." There you go. We're just having fun, folks, because Taylor Swift is the biggest thing going now. As I say, if it was Drake or Justin Bieber, we'd say it was him. If it was Mariah Carey, we'd be saying about her. It doesn't matter. It's not a personal thing. Uh, okay, Woodland's in good form. Best guitarist, best vocalist, best piano player goes to Paul. Paul McCartney is not known for putting up with musicians not doing the job he could do better. Is Taylor Swift destroying the music business? I think so. I think so. Oh, everybody, did Mr. Mayo say that? I just think, like I say, it happens to be Taylor Swift. It could be anybody. It just happens to be her. She's a smart businesswoman, but she's really, it's nonsense the way everything's about her and everything is. She's putting all her stuff up there. Now I know what's going on. I think people are starting since Martin showed. I think people are starting to look to make trouble here. So there we go. Very nice. I appreciate this. Thank you, Indie Colt 777. A $2 tip jar. Egg and ketchup sandwich Sunday. Yeah, when I go to that place on Sundays, I do have an egg sandwich with ketchup. And man, I'm pissed if they forget that ketchup. You know. Mr. Mayo, I loved your idea of what would have happened if George took over bass for Stewart instead of Paul. Well, Paul McCartney obviously is a great melodic, interesting, fascinating bass player. Plays a great bass. But I think it would have worked with George playing bass and Paul playing lead. Definitely. There you go. There's a comment and kind of supporting a little bit of Taylor. Not the worst musician or anything. But she's not the best either. That's the thing that gets me. There's a lot of better female singers than her, from what I've heard of her. Is John's voice supposed to sound muffled on the new version of I Am the Walrus? Was just checking it out. I have a mixed reaction. I don't think his voice sounds muffled. He's got a little bit of a kind of gritty sound to it or something. But ever seen the Hammer movie Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde? Yes, of course. It's among my favorite kind of horror movies. Couple it with the Hands of the Ripper. Yes, the Hands of the Ripper is a good Hammer movie. And so is Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. And Martine Beswick is absolutely sexy as hell in that movie. It's about the professor, Ralph Bates, Dr. Jekyll, who turns into a woman. And that this is 1971 we're talking about. Okay, so 1971, and the woman is Sister Hyde, and she is incredible. And Sean Young is another one. Remember that movie they did, a comedy, Dr. Jekyll and Ms. Hyde. Gorgeous. Sean Young, beautiful in that movie. I know John Alelo was very, very vocal. Yeah, John Alelo has been very, very vocal. Yes. Taylor Swift can help Paul get another number one. Well, you can have it. I told you. That is embarrassing, and I still say it. Whatever song it was that was a hit, I forget. Was it 4 or 5 seconds? It's not a Paul McCartney song. If Taylor Swift and Paul McCartney did like a duet and they became number one automatically because it was Taylor Swift, that would be the most embarrassing, disgusting way for Paul to get a number one. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. And you're going to say, "What about Elton John?" Don't give me that. I'm thinking what I know. I pre-guess what people are going to say. What about Elton John with John Lennon and whatever gets you through the night? No, that made on the strength of John Lennon. I don't care what anybody says. Whatever gets you through the night, while not one of my personal favorite Lennon songs, you could see it has number one hit potential on it. Um, do I think there'll ever be a Beatles biopic? I would like there to be a Beatles biopic. I'd like them to. There's a couple of problems with that. The first thing is, you can't tell the story of the Beatles in 2 hours, or even the movie would have to be at least 3 hours, at the very least, 3 hours at the least, if not longer. And how are you going to do that? And the problem is also getting actors who look like the Beatles, sound like the Beatles, and have the charisma of all the four Beatles. You feel like it's them. You can't just have a guy and say he's Paul McCartney. You can't just have a guy say he's George or Ringo or John, you know? And that's the tough thing to me. Paul is the best at everything except drums. Notice how Woodland Goblin didn't put drums there. Notice that. I did not watch. I've never seen Triumph of the Will. No. Well, that's up for debate. Sometimes Paul drums great. Sometimes not. I think I think Paul does the counting on the new now and then. Taylor Swift is not ruining music. She's just not adding anything new. Me too, Pirate Gamer. Me too. My 18-year-old daughter has purchased 4 Taylor Swift vinyl albums this year. She has never played a record in her life and has no idea how to. She wants me to play them for her. Interesting. I don't think Apple would ever agree to work with the Star Club tapes, but they would benefit the most from Peter Jackson's technology. Would you agree? Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. And I really think that at first I thought even Peter Jackson with his technology is not going to be able to salvage the sound of those tapes. Now I'm thinking, after hearing Now and Then, I'm thinking it's going to be interesting and he might be able to do it. I looked it up. George passed away at the age of 56. What? You looked it up. Don't we know that already? I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Don't you know that without looking it up? 58, wasn't he 58? George was 58. I don't give a damn. You told me this the other day. I don't give a damn whether Taylor Swift is friends. Paul's going to make friends with Taylor Swift because she's number one. I don't want to hear. I don't. I'm sorry. I think it's okay. I think it's ridiculous. It's cheap. It's ridiculous. It's a career move. Sorry. Yesterday I saw an interview with Giles Martin. He thought I saw her standing there. May have been on the original Red and Blue. No, well, it wasn't. Good morning, Beatly Tone. How's the arm doing, man? How's the arm doing? We're trying to get it. We're trying to get plans over at to Two Legs channel to do another one of those things that we do that show stuck inside these four walls. And Beatly Tone and I are trying to get together for that, and Andy and Tom. So let's see. We'll be doing another one of those shows in the not too distant future. Okay. Yeah, I thought of this too. If you do a Beatles biopic, it really should be streamed as a series with many, many hours. I agree with that. That's really the best way to do it. I don't agree. We say that now. I don't think that Now and I think Now and Then was a crappy song, the demo tape. Now and Then was a crappy demo. I don't think it had any potential as a song. He never finished it. A lot of people who don't like the song Now and Then, the Beatles version, they say, well, if it was a good song, John Lennon would have used it. Maybe, maybe not. But the thing is, but whatever. The thing is that it's a good song now. What Paul did to it, and Ringo helped on, and what Giles did, and everybody together working as a team, they managed to make it a good Beatles song, I think. But as a John Lennon solo song, it never was finished. It was never really that good. That's my opinion. Yeah, the Two of Us movie. I did a review. If you want to try to look at it, I wonder if I have. I don't know if I have that in my. If you look in my playlists section on my main page under movies, maybe maybe I did. I have that in the list. Uh, Taylor Swift is not unattractive. She's not unattractive, but she's not my. I mean, I don't. Actually, I was going to say she's not my type, and the funny thing is, I don't have a type. What I mean by that is I like all kinds of women, tall, short, fat, thin. you know, I mean, there's all. To me, I think Taylor Swift is a little too thin, and I think that while she's a pretty lady, and it's just me personally. You ask me, I just think that I don't know. She looks like I don't like that look, like a Barbie doll face, like kind of like doesn't really. I don't know. She doesn't have the right look. But that's about all I could say. And I can see people are watching this and they'll say, well, who does he think he is? Who does he think he is? Valentino? Well, that's not the point. Because I've heard all this shit before. That's how I know. No, I'm just somebody with, four eyes who has an opinion. That's all. It's all subjective. I'll be honest with you, the counting to now and then, I don't think we needed a count in. I actually don't like the count in. I wish it would just start without a count in. But look at this. Look at this, Woodland. I don't want to say negative things about you, pal. I really don't. Funny how everyone here is against Taylor Swift, yet she and Paul are really good friends. So, do I have to like Taylor Swift and her music because Paul's friends with her? And the only reason he's friends with her is for for popularity, PC reasons, to be exposed, exposed in PR. Do you really think? Come on, Woodland, please. Don't forget, at one time, Paul was really good friends with Kanye West. Also, remember? Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad we corrected this. Yes, What if Taylor was on Apple Records? Then you'd be totally into her. I bet some would think. Well, he would think wrong. That's ridiculous. I've gone on record many times as saying I do not collect artists just because they're on Apple Records. There's some people that collect Apple art. I don't collect Mary Hopkin. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to think. I don't just collect Apple artists. Okay, that's absolutely stupid. It's a stupid thing to say in regards to me, anyway. Some other people out there like to collect it, but the only Taylor that I care about, to do with that would be James Taylor. Okay, exactly, exactly. Just saw that exactly. Making slow progress with the arm, but progress is progress. Well, we wish you the best with that. It must be really tough, trying to do videos, and you know, and not just doing videos, but it's one of those things, Tone, that of course we never think about. We take it for granted, right? You take for granted that you can, I don't know, brush your teeth or put your pants on or your shirt on yourself. If you did that, I wonder how would a person survive if you didn't live with somebody, if you didn't have somebody in your life to take care of you. That's incredible. Okay, Lynette, hi. Lynette says biopics never live up to the expectations of real fans. Too many theatrical compromises have to be made. And you know what gets me about this? You're right. And it doesn't have to be, It doesn't have to be because to me, anybody's life story, yours, I'll bet, mine, anybody watching, we have our own drama. We have our own. Most people have enough drama in their life. A lot of people's life stories are already perfectly dramatic or cinematic enough stories somewhere along the lines without having to, you know, embellish it, you know. Is that really Woodland Goblin? Because that's I can't believe you made that statement. Well, everybody's different, but the the kind of women you mentioned, I also think are very pretty, very attractive. So there you go. What can I tell you? I've even heard Bruce Springsteen say good things about Taylor Swift, but I still don't find the motivation to get into her. From what I've heard, like I said, I've listened to several songs of hers, whatever. I don't think she's all that from the songs I heard. However, she does she does in fact, at least she writes her material, she writes her own songs, and from what I understand, with today's music, her music is like, the kind of, right, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. So she writes the kind of music that I like. I just haven't heard anything from her that's knocking me out. Good morning, Beetle Eddie. Would I go to a Taylor Swift concert if you had free front row seats? No, I'd probably try to make some money and sell them, but not, sell them for a reduced fee, but make some kind of profit. Do you think Taylor Swift is popular now because of the COVID pandemic? Girls looking for someone to look up to? Well, I know that women, the girls, young girls, older women, everybody looks up to her for power, the power that she has. Um, and like I say, more power to her. I don't care whether it's a woman or a man. It doesn't make any difference to me. They are what they are. If you're powerful, you're powerful. I don't care. I got no problem with that. But I think some people, yeah, they look at her as a role model kind of thing. They look up to her. But I don't know about COVID. I don't know if COVID has anything to do with it. Wow, my order is number. Oh no! Wait! But you got three, two, one, three, two. Now and then, real love. I don't know what order you have them in. Is that three, two, one, or one, free as a bird? Now and then, and real love. My order is number one, now and then. Number two, real love. Number three, free as a bird. Yeah, yeah. Beatley Tone will be struggling on his own with a broken arm if not for Mrs. Beatley Tone. You're very lucky. Very, very sweet and charming woman, your wife, I gotta say. I'm only judging by the video, but she looks like a lot of fun. And I forget, Tone, what's the extent of her as a Beatles fan? She is a Beatles fan, right? But not so much. There's Woodland Goblin. Woodland Goblin, watch it. I'm gonna have to put you in cold shower mode. uh, what's your favorite biopic, new or old? That's really, really interesting. I don't have many. There's a movie with James Cagney in it called Man of a Thousand Faces from 1956. It's about Lon Chaney Sr. I like the movie, but it's very there's a lot of fiction in it too. So it's really hard to say. I don't know. There's not many movies that I like. Biopic movies. I probably, my favorite biopic movie, okay, is Ed Wood. Tim Burton's movie Ed Wood. But that's also, there's a lot of fabrications in there about Bela Lugosi and stuff. It's exaggerated. There's problems. Hello, Patrick from Sweden. I didn't really chat much with Patty Boyd. I mean, because the way I look at it, the line is moving along. But when I got her autograph, I even have a video of it. You could see it. I just talked with her because I was presenting an album cover with her on the cover, and they put the title of the album right on her hairdo. It covers her hairdo, and I said, "They covered your hairdo," and she goes, "Oh, my hair looks so good that day too. Oh, that's terrible." That kind, that kind of thing. That's about it. "Shake It Off" is probably the best pop song of the last 10 years. But the thing is, it has about eight people. "Shake It Off," I'm going to tell you, sucked. Okay, "Shake It Off" was one of the Taylor Swift masterpieces that I tried out, and it did nothing for me. "Shake It Off" at all. That's just my opinion. Now, I was very strong. I said it sucked, and that's my opinion. That's all it is my opinion. Okay. I think if you enjoy pop music, you'll find good things in Swift's music. Well, I love pop music. I love like mainstream, catchy songs. I like the 1970s top 40, that kind of thing. But so far, the four songs I heard from Swift don't do a damn thing for me. Maybe I'm listening to the wrong ones. But why should I keep trying, 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 trying? If it's not grabbing me, it's not grabbing me. Martin is trying hard. Martin's trying hard to get my goat. Like I said, that's not going to happen anymore. Nope, not going to happen. Billy Joel took his whole family to see Taylor Swift. Wow, what an icon. On record store day, more than half the people in the queue outside were teenage girls trying to get their hands on the Taylor Swift album. Pathetic, isn't it? It's pathetic. I'm sorry. People say, what's pathetic about the Beatles? No, the Beatles were the Beatles. The Beatles were the Beatles, okay? There's a big difference. This is turning into a Taylor Swift channel. Enough already. Well, there's a line from a horror movie called Day of the Dead. There's a guy, I think he's got a Jamaican accent. He's Jamaican, I think, in the movie. And he goes, well, that's the problem with the world started today. Everybody's got their own ideas, what they want out of life. Because there's a lot of people and everybody. Some people say, let's stop talking about this. Let's get back to the music. Let's stop talking about Taylor Swift. Let's talk more about Taylor Swift. Everybody's got different opinions. Everybody's got different opinions. Uh, Free as a Bird is the best because of Paul's added part. Well, they didn't need it, but I like Paul's added part in Free as a Bird, and I like George's added part. I know you don't have any respect for George as compared to John and Paul. I know that at all. I mean, you don't think he's anywhere in the same league at all, ever. You know, but I like George's part in there. But the thing is, I respect the fact that Paul did not feel he had to add a verse to Now and Then. I'm glad Paul kept his distance and didn't sing. Yeah. I still don't believe Long and Winding Road should have been sang by Paul. Should have been done by George. And of course, Woodland Goblin will have none of that. I watched Taylor Swift, whatever, concert. Was not impressed. Pull the string, pull the string. It's exaggerated in the Ed Wood movie. The Lennon song that I love is India, India. They should do that one, remix it, clean it up, release it, a double fantasy box set. Beatley Tone says, well, she's more into them now since I started my channel, The Beatles, his wife and the Beatles, but she had some Beatle comps. Okay, so she's like, yeah, she's a mild Beatles fan. Well, same thing with, Miss Mayo, she likes the Beatles, but she's not a fanatic in any way, shape, or form. And since being with me, she's been very much more interested. She's been interested more in them as people, and she's learned a lot more about them and finds them interesting. But she's not a fanatic, of course. I personally absolutely love the movie Ed Wood and biopics in general. Some exaggeration and stuff just for the film really doesn't bother me. I just enjoy the story. Well, Bela Lugosi was not living all by himself. He had a wife. His second wife at the time. Well, I don't know if it was his second wife. He might have been married more than twice, but he had his current wife at the time. He had a son. Yeah, prior to the Yankees. Well, I don't really care about baseball. Yankee Doodle Dandy. Yeah, yeah, two good biopics. CD Man Nick is a fan of Taylor Swift and says "Shake It Off" is one of the worst Taylor Swift songs, and I'm a fan. That's pretty basic truth. A pretty basic truth. Thank you all. We got 91 people here now. Thank you all for watching. And I raised my cup. It's probably cold by now. Yes, I gotta get I gotta get it warmer. I know. I know. I can still taste the peppermint. You say you're not a huge fan of stuff like Pet Sounds. Would you rather listen to that or Swift? Rather listen to Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. At least I know I like three of the songs on it. Try Antihero, her best song. Okay, I'll give that a listen at some point. I got to remember the name. Yeah, Madonna. Madonna. I'm not a Madonna fan per se, but Madonna is way more appealing musically than anything I've heard from Taylor Swift so far. Got way better songs. And Cyndi Lauper too. Cyndi Lauper's fantastic. No problem with her. Okay. Do you prefer Andy White or Ringo's version of "Love Me Do"? I've always preferred the Andy White version. I think the Beatles sing better on it. I think that I like Andy White on the drums, and that's mainly because I like his big hard cymbal crash in the bridge, the instrumental part. I just think it's a better recording. I just like it better. But having been said, I really like I like the Ringo one too. But I don't think Taylor Swift needs any promoting. I think I don't think she needs promoting. So whatever. It's not. That makes no difference. My channel. I think Martin's still trying to look for a fight. He's still a troublemaker. He's still a troll. You come on here, I give you the benefit of the doubt, and then you're still looking for a fight, Martin. I'm still letting you stay here. I know people that have told me, get rid of this guy. Get rid of this guy. Pathetic that young girls want Taylor Swift. Joe, what the F are you talking about? Do you think 15-year-old girls are going to be standing with two virgins? What universe? I don't know what the hell you're talking about, the comparison between two virgins and Taylor Swift. I think you're out of your mind. Okay. I think it's okay. The kids like her. That's fine. But let's not think she's important in the history of pop. Well, let's see, even I will say, um, she's obviously somewhat important, Tone. I mean, obviously she's somewhat important, but I think you're talking about, um, I'm laughing at something else. Um, she seems important. I gotta say, she seems important. I just don't think her music, obviously, is not going to stand the test of time. I don't think. But that's my opinion. I got to sneeze, folks. I'm hoping not. Before I did an accent, Lynette says that was a Jamaican Irish accent. That's true. I had a little bit of a little Irish in there too. Good morning to Psycho's Platters. Always got to do a coffee mug salute when he's on. Way back to George Harrison. George Harrison's not in the same league as John and Paul. Show me the evidence he is. They wrote all the hits. George something, Here Comes the Sun. Great. I'm saying at that particular point he was in the same league. I'm saying that George Harrison at one point was in the same league and even surpassed John and Paul. And that was what you said, around 66. I still say a lot of people say While My Guitar Gently Weeps could be the best song on that entire White Album, 32 songs. 68 and 69, George's songwriting was on a level with John and Paul's for that period. I'm not saying the whole career. Oh, please. Madonna's an old lady now. She's over. Yeah, she's over. That's exactly what's going to happen to Taylor Swift. One day she will be over and nobody's going to be listening to her anymore either. I'm saying that her music, I think, in my opinion, Madonna's songs. There's a lot more Madonna songs I like than what I've heard from Taylor Swift. If anybody's interested, you can check that out. There is no shame in not being as great a songwriter as Lennon or McCartney. More power to George for being able to hang with the big dogs. Exactly. Who's going to play Joe Mayo in the new Beatles biopic? I want to see the scene where Sean Lennon asks Joe Mayo to adopt him. I don't know. Hmm. Who would play me? I'm trying to think like who's like I don't know. I'm trying to think like the yeah. Will Taylor Swift end up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Yes, I think she will because it's a PC thing. It's a PC issue. It's not really always about who belongs in there, and stuff like that. So absolutely, it's to please the crowds and stuff a lot of times. But then again, she did. Let's face it, Taylor Swift obviously influenced a lot of young girls. So Martin, don't you think John and Paul held George back, rejecting his songs like "Isn't It a Pity" and stuff like that? George's star shone bright. Don't forget too. Yeah, Martin, don't forget. All Things Must Pass by George is often considered the best of all solo Beatles albums, over Paul and John's solo albums. So from 1968 to like 70, he was really shining, George. Love Me Do isn't that great of a song in the first place. Well, I agree. Love Me Do is a simple little ditty. It does, it's not the heights of, Let It Be, but it's a catchy little ditty. I like it enough. Yes, I do like the Strawberry Fields Forever mix on the new Blue album is an older mix, right? I think it's from 2015, but I think it was 2023 tweaked. So I really like Strawberry Fields on the new mix, yes. And Woodland's right there, and like I said, I think it was tweaked, but still. The mix of the song Help on the new Red album I thought was rubbish, just didn't sound right. Yeah, I wasn't knocked out by it either. Not bad though, but Taylor Swift is important now, but not in the history of pop, is what I meant. Well, I don't know yet about that. Let me know what you think, folks. Do you agree with Beatley Tone? John and Paul did hold George back somewhat for sure, but they also inspired him to write songs. The best on the White House. Yeah, Why My Guitar Gently Weeps is best on the White Album and maybe the White House too. Beatley Tone says, "While My Guitar Gently Weeps is my best song on my best album." There you go. Take that, John and Paul. Take that. No, I have not heard this album. John and Paul both said something is the best song on Abbey Road. Everybody like Joe's video. What are you talking about? Hit the likes here, folks. Hit the thumbs up, please, please. I can't tell. It's funny when I don't see thumbs up here when I'm on Streamyard. Unfortunately, I'm doing Streamyard today. And if you want to like visit the tip jar down below, it's very encouraged, very appreciated, not required at all. That's right, exactly. I can't agree more. Absolutely. Madonna played a very important role in women being taken seriously as artists and took a lot of risks. Her importance is much greater than Swift so far. Well, there's that too. You can say, look, yeah. Well, I think Taylor Swift is important for women. I think that Madonna did that already. Yeah, that's a good point. Danny DeVito as Mr. Mayo. No, for one thing, I'm much taller than him. That wouldn't work. He doesn't look anything like me, so that would never work. How does a Beatles fan trash George Harrison as a musician? He was an important spoke in the wheel. I don't trash George. I'm just honest about George. I'm not a sycophant, you know, just because I love the Beatles. And don't forget, I've said this before, I love George Harrison's sound. I love his guitar playing. I love the sound. I love all the Beatles songs. I love George Harrison's solo stuff. So I like his sound. I'm just able to say that he's not the best guitarist. That's all. Um, and Martin still says it over and over and over again. George Harrison is just not John and Paul as a songwriter. And I'll say it again, in my opinion, there were periods where he was the equal of John and Paul. And in the case of Abbey Road, he even went a little better than them. And all things must pass surpassed John and Paul. So in general, I wouldn't say he's equal, but he's had his moments. And does it really matter? Does it really matter that much to you, Martin? Does it really matter? All current popular music is disposable, no lasting value. I'm inclined to agree with you. I'm inclined to agree with you. Hi, Chris. What do you think of Paul's 1993 album, Off the Ground? I like Off the Ground, and I think it's underrated. The problem with Off the Ground, though, a lot of people say, is that a lot of the songs that were not on the album, that were bonus tracks, are often considered better than what was on the album. So we really need an archive set to come out of Off the Ground. Not only did George have the first number one album and single, George also had the last number one. Got My Mind Set on You is the last solo Beatles number one. Even Paul, since 19 that hit number one in early 1988. Even Paul has not had a number one since 1988. No, that's not true at all. That is that. Oh, the number one album with McCartney. Oh, that. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You could be right about that. I don't know. Sorry. Good morning, Scott. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't know. Back when somebody said, "How could you be a Beatles fan and trash George?" I mean, he might have been referring to Martin McGrath and not me. So I don't know. I'm sorry about that one. Back to Taylor Swift. Well, we can't know about her in history yet. Taylor Swift has been around for 15 years. It has to count for something. It has to count. I'm not going to say too much. It speaks more of the state of the people these days than her. I'd like to see a live stream panel of Joe, Martin, and Woodland. Well, Woodland would come up. Martin would not be willing to come up. I'm sure. Leo DiCaprio can play Joe Mayo. Smash that like button. Hit that tip jar. Help out. If the Beatles' Blue album gets to be number one in the UK, it will be bigger news to me. There's still a possibility of that happening. There'll still be a chance of that happening. Oh, sorry, not you, Martin. You're talking about me with the George Harrison thing. How could you? I explained myself. If you listen to outtakes of George and he's flubbing every guitar solo, and you think that's good, that's up to you. You know. Hello, Darren Gamble. Philip prefers Maxwell Silver Hammer to something. Oh, here comes the sun. Okay. Hey, hey, stupid, stupid. Go back and listen to what I said 2 or 3 times. I told you how I felt about that 2 or 3 times. Okay? And you still don't listen, and you still twist words, and you still try to crack. You are a troll. You are a troll every time, and I always give you the benefit of the doubt. And still, I'll have you come back because it's entertaining. People love this. Okay? Did I not explain my feelings on this several times to him? Come on. Sorry, but Giles and his team have totally botched the early period of the Red album. I'm up to Beethoven, and what I've heard so far has been so disappointing. I had to skip She Loves You. Awful. I'll agree with you about She Loves You. She Loves You was really, really poor and really disappointing, but everything else I vehemently disagree with you. And something that Matthew Street said is how I feel. He said the word he's going to use is clarity. Clarity is the word that he's going to use. Overall, the clarity, the crisp and clearness of it all, the dynamic, the fullness of it, I love it. I love what he did, and I do not praise Giles Martin easily. So for me to say that, that says a lot. So we disagree. That's okay. You feel one way, I feel another way. Some people like what he did. Some people don't like what he did. Thank you for your offering your opinion. George Harrison is not the best guitarist in your opinion, but you wouldn't put any other guitarist on the best band ever like the Beatles were. Um, I don't understand. If you mean like would I want somebody else in the Beatles other than George? No. I've said before. I'll say it again. People just don't listen. Okay, maybe it's because we're so into the internet and scrolling all the time and not paying any attention. Okay. George Harrison, I love, 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 love what George Harrison brought to the Beatles. I love the sound that he brought to the Beatles. I say the same thing about Ringo. Ringo Starr, I think, is a great drummer. Great timing, great fills, really tasty fills. But Ringo is not technically the best, fastest drummer or anything, but he was a perfect fit for the Beatles. So I think George Harrison was the perfect guitarist for the Beatles. He fit well, and so did Ringo. Would I say that Ringo's as good as Keith Moon? No, I wouldn't. Would I say that George Harrison is as good as Eric Clapton? No, I wouldn't. I agree with this. George was a standout, absolutely. Did I say hello to Darren Gamble already? Yes, hello, Darren Gamble, if I didn't say it already. What did Taylor do her first 7 years, First 7 years, people. The Beatles recorded from 62 to 69. Unbelievable. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you're obviously kidding here. You're obviously kidding. I don't block people. You seem Martin often thinks that I block people if I disagree with them or this and that. That's such nonsense. That's so nonsense. That's silly. You're just being funny now. You're being funny. Not, it's not. It's not. It's not humorous, but you're trying to be funny. Um, Stephen McVie says McVeigh, excuse me, in Walk the Line, they decided to leave out the most dramatic part, the autobiography, when Johnny Cash crawled into the cave to die. Okay, I missed that. Okay. There's a support for the new Red album. I love Paul McCartney, but I think he gets too much credit for the Beatles' later music output. He was still outnumbered 3-1. If the others really didn't want to record, they wouldn't have. Well, I give Paul credit. I give Paul credit for that. Beatletti says, Joe, you and Martin should form a comedy team. You can be the new Abbott and Costello. Yeah, definitely. Uh, Ringo is a better timekeeper than Keith Moon, in my opinion. Very good tone, very good, very good. I'm enjoying the new Red album too. Nice to hear things so clearly. We can always go back to the older mixes. That's what I'm really coming down to now, Lynette. Lynette. I'm thinking the same thing. You know, the new Red album is a masterpiece. The only song that I thought didn't come out great, besides She Loves You, is 8 Days a Week. I love 8 Days a Week. Love, love, love. 8 Days a Week, in my opinion, has never sounded better. We disagree on that one. Ringo's drums have never been more audible. You could hear him drumming for an hour. You never could not hear it originally that well. True that Ringo is no Neil Peart of Rush, but he fit the Beatles' music style perfectly. I agree. You can sing every one of George Harrison's solos as a song within hum an Eric Clapton solo. I dare you. Okay. I'm laughing, doing while my guitar gently waves. It's funny that why does Eric Clapton have to be lead guitarist on George Harrison's own song? Uh, I don't like Eric Clapton's music in general. Uh, the Blue album seems to be a lot more popular than the Red. Why do you think that is? Well, because most people prefer the later Beatles, and especially these days, you know. Um, um, Paul's first number one in the U.S. was Uncle Albert, 71. George hit number one with My Sweet Lord in 70. Yeah. I got the humming the wasp because they were friends. Stop, stop. Now I could be wrong here, but did George Harrison ever play lead guitar solo on an Eric Clapton song? If he did, I'll totally own this, and I'll say I'm sorry, Lee. However, he played it because George couldn't play it like that. That's why. Mr. Mayo, how can the Beatles get younger fans? Is streaming the answer? Well, it's part of the answer. As much as I don't like streaming as much as physical media, it's what it is today, and I don't care how young fans come to the Beatles as long as they come to the Beatles. So there you go. The best thing that Alan Klein did was put together the Red and Blue albums. Of course, they fired him prior to release, so Klein received no royalties. Good move. Yeah, that's true. He did a good thing with that, but he was also responsible for the Hey Jude album, which I like very much. Ah, okay. Yes, he did on Badge. All right. I stand corrected. I said I was going to bow to Lee. I know the song Badge, too. I never gave it a thought. Okay. But I'm sorry. But in the case of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, I truly believe, other than their friendship, I truly believe that I don't think George could play the lead like that, maybe. Okay? So that's my feeling on that. Yes, Prince did a great, I think, on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, did a great lead solo to rock on the While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Paul's last number one U.S. was Say way back in 1983. Yeah, and by the way, it's not, in my opinion, that's not to say Paul hasn't had a lot of good contenders. Paul's had a lot of singles since 1983 that should have been number one. It's more a reflection on the state of radio and the state of the world. Yeah, Clapton and Harrison both loved George's wife, Patty, and it's amazing how that didn't affect their friendship. Ah, George wrote Badge though with Clapton. Oh man, this is so much fun. These early morning I really love these early. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you. If you like these too and are enjoying it, help out the channel a little bit. Hit that S sign below. Help out the channel a little bit. Help me be able to buy more stuff like that. Yeah, I'm gonna contribute to him to buy more stuff. You want me to show you this? Hey, you want me to show you these kind of things? Well, how do I do that, right? Hey, I'm just a retiree now. I'm not making the big bucks, the working bucks anymore. Uh, whoa, what's this? George played rhythm on Badge. Clapton played the solo. Wait a minute. Is that true? Is that true? Yeah, they were great friends with they were great friends with Clapton stealing George's wife. Yeah, these morning chats are fun to watch, no doubt about it. It's fun. Oh yeah, I love it. Thank you, Robert S. So we're hearing that well, George wrote Badge or some of it, whatever, and uh, and then I'm hearing that maybe Clapton played rhythm and George, no, wait a minute, Clapton played. I'm losing this. George played rhythm and Clapton played lead on Badge. I don't know. How many copies of the White Album do I have? I guess about three. I don't have a lot. Yes, that's true. That's true. All right. So we're hitting the 9 o'clock hour soon, and 9 o'clock is when things usually hop a little more around here. So let's see. I think I'm out of tea this morning. Yes, I am. Peppermint tea. Another thing I like about this peppermint tea, it doesn't have a string hanging out the side. What specifically have you heard before, Beetle Babe? What specifically? I'm losing it. That's interesting. Did John have any input in the production of the later albums? Michael. I don't think. I think John did. I think they all did. But oh man, I gotta go in the other room soon. I forgot something with my phone. Um, so, but I think if anything, John wasn't as interested, not as interested anymore. I think that was part of it. Okay, back. No, I did not use the restroom. I couldn't go that fast. Let me see now. Let's go back here a little bit. Is that Celestial Seasonings without the string? I think so, Beetle Babe. It's peppermint, and it was pretty good. And so far, I don't feel any real agita or anything. Uh, Good morning. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, about George and Ringo's contribution to Badge. I've heard this before. How much input did Yoko have on those albums? I don't think she had much input on those albums at all. I don't think. Other than she did sing on Bungalow Bill and Birthday. She has. There you go. There you go. Okay, I would agree with that. Yes, you did say something about mint. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I mean, because we have a lot of boxes of different kinds of tea, and I was like going through them just to see which one I'd want to take a try. And I saw peppermint. And I said, that rings a bell. So we'll see how that goes. All right, Lee. I thought you. Wow, George Harrison did not play lead guitar on Bad. He co-wrote the song with Eric Clapton. Okay, very good. And Harrison, under the name Langelo Misterioso, played rhythm guitar. So there you go. Okay, there you go. I go back then. I could stand by. I'll take my bowing back. Remember, I did. I'm going to do reverse bowing. How do you do reverse bowing? I'm doing reverse bowing. I take it back. I was right. Okay, looks like. So never mind about them being friends or whatever. You know, George needed somebody that could play a really, really wailing guitar like that, and that was Clapton. Don't forget too. Don't forget in Get Back, he says he can't. He's honoring Eric Clapton, and George is saying, "I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't play like that." So there you go. Uh, except for Revolution 9, what do you think is the worst song on the White Album? Well, the thing is, it's easy to go after songs like "Why Don't We Do It in the Road" or "Wild Honey Pie" or things like that. Um, the worst song, so everybody goes for Revolution 9 or the short songs. I forget those. If you want to go for any of the regular songs, I forget. We on my show Fab Gab. By the way, here's a plug for Fab Gab. Check out my show Fab Gab. You can look in the playlist and you'll see all the shows. We did a White Album ranking, least favorite to most favorite songs. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Honey Pie, the Paul Diddy, I guess. Sipping slower would help too. Yes, Beetle Babe. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. How come you didn't like 8 Days a Week remix on the 2015 Beatles one? I don't remember it. I haven't heard it since then. All I know about 8 Days a Week here is that Ringo's drums are brought up. Period. Okay? You know I despise winter. You know I despise winter with a passion. You know that. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear you say that. Oh, Tone, don't say that. Oh, it's beautiful. Don't pass me by. Wow, you're a Ringo gal. Wow. Um, I love Long, Long, Long personally, but what do you want for Christmas from your girlfriend? I don't really want anything, honestly. I don't really care. She's got it easy though. All she's got to do is buy me Beatles shirts. It's very easy. Just go to, I still don't know what to get her. Here it is, November 15th, and I still don't know what to get her. I hate Christmas in that regard. In that regard, I hate it. The pressure. Oh, I gotta come up with something. I gotta buy the right gift. Oh God. I usually go to a jewelry store and pick out stuff, but I've picked out so many things in the past, necklaces and bracelets and things. I don't know what else to get. Don't say it. Don't say it. It's not going to happen, folks. It's not. It's never going to happen, and we're okay with that. I've been here. I've been there, done that. Okay, It- you know. Other than, oops, sorry about that. Uh, Oh, geez, I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of Glass Onion. I like Glass Onion. I don't think that Glass Onion should have been on the Blue album. Other than 1973's Ringo, but other Ringo Starr 70 albums is a favorite of yours. Other than 73's Ringo, but other Ringo Starr 70s albums. Well, Goodnight Vienna. And I also like the Bad Boy album that's criminally underrated. A lot of, there's a lot of good songs on there. You know. Here's what's happening in a Beatles song. Oh, here we go. Let me hold on. I want to really pull up my chair for this one. You tell me. Okay, here's what's happening in a Beatles song. John is playing what they call banjo chords on the top of the neck. Okay, George is playing sophisticated jazz versions of those chords all up and down the neck. Whatever. I let my ears tell me what I like or not. I like all of it. I like what John's doing. I like what George is doing, Ringo and Paul. So there you go. Oh, I like Times Takes Time way more than Vertical Man. Vertical Man's good, but Time Takes Time is great. Uh, hey, there's somebody that likes the Bad Boy album. Uh, I have no interest whatsoever in getting the red and blue albums on black vinyl. No interest. I don't even have that much interest getting them on red and blue vinyl, and I got them. And that's because, like I said, well, I just don't need them. I told you this recently. I said the only other red and blue albums I ever have that I own is the '73 originals. I don't own all the other reissues and things. No, I'm not surprised at all that the blue album is outselling the red because most people prefer the later Beatles, and younger generations mostly start out on the late Beatles. So I'm not surprised about that at all. Oh yeah, I love Stop and Smell the Roses. Oh, okay. I got you. Sorry about that. I got you. Sorry, it's hard when you're doing this so many years. People are asking you what's your favorite, this and that. You know. I think Ringo's Rotogravure is a Ringo album. It's not among his best, but it's underrated. It's not that bad. I didn't even think of this. How obvious is this? Now and Then is on the Blue album. That's another reason why it's selling better. But the thing is, even back in the day, the Blue album always did better than the Red album, even before there was Now and Then. You know. Yep, Photograph. My favorite Ringo song is "It Don't Come Easy," but Photograph is great, of course. Started out with the Blue album, but actually in this new version, I actually prefer the Red one. There you go. There you go. Yes, indeed. Maybe Now and Then John wrote for May Pang instead of Yoko. I don't believe it at all. It could. We don't know. We'll never know. We'll never know because John never said. We'll never know. Is it written for Paul? Is it written for Yoko? Is it written for May Pang? Is it written just to write some song that doesn't have anything to do with anybody? Who cares? The main thing is now it's written as a Beatles song. That's what it is. Well, you could say this to the cows come home, Lee. Nothing's going to change my mind. Save your fingertips. Usually I'd say save your breath. Save your fingertips. Okay, I love the Beatles, and I understand about the foundation and all this and the other thing. And you could say George friggin' Harrison all you want. I'm still not going to say he was really one of the greatest guitarists ever. Not going to happen. I like. I'm tired of repeating it. I'm saying the same words over and over and over. Okay. I like the sound that George made, and I wouldn't have anybody else on the Beatle records than George. But I'm not going to say, he's Jimi Hendrix or something. It's not going to happen. Well, May Pang is just a victim of a young love. She thinks that she makes way more out of this fling than John did. I'm sorry. I know John said and in this song he sings "I think I love her," think, but he don't forget the song that really speaks about the woman in his life was written to Yoko on the same album. Bless you. I was getting back into vinyl records in 2011. I started collecting vinyl records again for the first time since 1986. 25 years I went without collecting vinyl, and I was watching channels. And I saw other people were showing their vinyl because this thing started out basically as a vinyl record channel. Look at this. I bought this, and I bought this, and I bought this. That's what it started out as, show your vinyl, what you bought. And then it became a whole lot of other things. That's really what that was. I would definitely agree with this. Definitely. Hey, you calling me a fucking idiot? Is that what you're calling me? I'll give you a line from Peter Cushing in Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. I'm afraid stupidity always brings out the worst in me. Touche. How dare you? Okay? Go over the line like that. How dare you? I've praised George Harrison here as a guitarist in the Beatles. I said I like the sound of George, Lee. But I'm not gonna put him as the equal of Hendrix or Jimmy Page or Eric Clapton. I'm just not. And you know what? George didn't either. George is in Get Back. We can hear him saying, Eric is great. Eric can do this. Eric can do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. So don't give me that. Okay? I can't believe you said that. You of all people. I take that from other people. I wouldn't expect you to say it. Evidence. You got it wrong too. You got it wrong. Okay? You said that you were so sure that George Harrison played lead guitar on Badge, and he does not. He plays rhythm guitar. Eric plays lead on Badge, obviously. Okay? That's really sad. Of all people this could happen to, it happens to Lee. You know, I wouldn't mind it happening to Martin or somebody, but Lee, come on. Lee, you're better than that. Anyway, I think we should replace the term cash grab with Maypang. Had YouTube been around a few years earlier, I might have started out as a vinyl channel too. What? Give me an example. Give me an example. I didn't make anything up about you. What are you talking about? Also, you know, if this morning stuff's going to evoke fights like this and stuff, it's not going to be going on. But I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. You want to join? I know you're over on the other guy's channel, IR. You want to go over to IR and spout more? You think he's so great? Go over and with him. Okay. Oh, come on, come on. All right. Well, first of all, if you never said that, then I misunderstood you. It's not easy, you know. We're sitting here. I'm doing a show. Everybody's coming on in comments. It's not easy in the comments to decipher what people are saying, like it kind of is. And you know, in writing, you know, when they say writing, you can't tell. I'm dealing with hundreds of comments here. Okay, but as far as I know, I said that. Well, why would George Harrison have uh what do you call it? Eric Clapton playing lead guitar on "While My Guitar Gently Weeps"? If you know, because I used to because they're friends. I said you might have said George also played on Badge. I don't know. Okay, yeah, you better start knowing when to quit, man. If you want, you know, like I said, you want to, you know, I'll apologize to you. That's the kind of guy I am. I'll apologize to you, Lee, if I misquoted you. Okay, I'll apologize, but you got to do the same. Okay, you know, I'm always a bigger guy like that. Okay, I don't appreciate that. Tell them, not me. You know. All right. Anyway, so this is a sad way to come to like the last part of this thing. But what time is it at? Is it like an hour 40 ish? Okay, just so I know. Mark Twain. All right, so everybody's quiet now. Is that it? We got 100 people here. Oh, we had over 100 people. Uh, that quote is a famous quote. It wasn't meant to call you an idiot. Well, I know it wasn't your quote. I know it's a famous quote from Mark Twain. But why did you use it? You know. Anyway, let's forget it. All right. If you can, let's forget it. We have too much fun talking about horror movies and things. Okay. Let's bring it around. Okay. I'm supposed to see Anthony. Thank you for changing the subject. I'm supposed to be seeing Anthony relatively soon. I don't know if it's going to be Friday. I might see him Friday. So there could be an Antony video coming. It's been a long time since we did one. All right, folks, don't be shy. Come on, let's get back to this because I don't have long anyway. Now, the reason I want to keep going on a little longer for at least 15 minutes or 20 minutes longer, at least, is because I don't want that note to end on that note. So, yeah, Art the Clown is going to be wearing a Santa Claus suit. It's going to be a Christmas slasher film. Okay, but I heard it wasn't coming out till Christmas 2024. I do have a little bit, by the way, if Beetle Babe's still there, I don't know. I have a little bit of, I'm starting to notice a little belching, you know. Oh, maybe it's because of what happened a few minutes ago. I don't know. Hope it's not the tea, you know what I mean? Yes, I saw the James Paul McCartney special when it aired in the 73. And I wasn't really at the time, I wasn't really, Beatles and solo Beatles fanatic yet. But I did watch it. Of course, I'm going to see the Thanksgiving horror movie. Absolutely. Um, yeah, well, it has the fade in the new one. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, I forgot to mention Nosferatu before. Somebody was asking me because what silent horror films do you like? And Nosferatu slipped my mind. It happens. I don't know if Paul's ever explained this. I don't know. I don't know. That's interesting. But of course, we can't think of Paul as anybody really but Paul, right? Somehow it doesn't work. The idea of Paul being named James, even though that's his first name, you know. Hey, that's a good theory. The obvious theory that I didn't think about. Maybe to differentiate it from his dad, Jim. Here's the thing with that thing. I have not listened to the podcast with Paul on the lyrics. What's happened is I've been listening to. Sometimes I listen to Breakfast with the Beatles with Ken Dashow, and if I turn it on early, there's the end of the show. I keep forgetting it's on, on Sundays, to tell you the truth. But I catch like a few moments before Breakfast with the Beatles on the radio on Sundays. But I have not heard like the whole thing. So what's a good word, folks? Uh, when you hang out with Anthony, can you guys go to the guy who curses a lot? He's a riot. Oh, I love having him on there. Yeah, the guy who curses a lot is fun. Yeah, he's a funny guy, but he's a nice guy too. He's got a lot of good stuff. He's got good stuff, and what he's got, the guy who curses a lot, is well priced. It's not too insanely priced. I like the prices, very reasonable. I think you asked me this before. No, I will not get it. I will not get it. I didn't think much of the lyrics book to begin with, if I'm to be honest. And I'm not going to get the four additional songs version. No. There you go. There's another opinion of that. Black Christmas. I think Black Christmas is overrated. I mean, Black Christmas is a movie that I caught again late in life. I didn't catch it early. I caught it late. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not missing much. I'm definitely sure. It's the same old, same old. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure it's nothing new, Marcus. I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe he will now, but whatever. If anybody wants to tell him, I don't care. you know. But he's a nice guy, and his prices are very reasonable. And he doesn't always get new stuff, but when he does, it's cool. So it got very quiet here after that exchange, and that's a shame, that that happened. It was, it's funny how when during that exchange there was like over 100 people, now there's 88. Yeah. Still never see. You're talking about the one with Gary Busey. If that's it, I've never seen it. One more George Harrison stuff. Here we go. I'm gonna leave this up here for people to read. I'm reading it too. I see what you're saying, Lee. Okay, but I'm just tired of talking about it. Okay, I really am tired of talking about it. But I respect your opinion and explaining it to people. But I'm tired of talking about it. Well, it's got good photographs in it. That's the idea. Good pictures from back in the day. Any new videos, store videos coming up? How is the former Getty Lee doing? Well, I'm not going to answer that anymore. No offense, but just because I put, he put a video up, Joe. So if you want to check out the video, Joe talks about how he's doing, and um, you know, as far as videos for the store go, I haven't been going there as much as I usually do. I do have some footage, but unfortunately, most of the footage that I have is about Don, and Don doesn't can't make up the whole record store videos. But I did get some more, and as soon as I can get them together, I'm going to keep doing those videos. But right now is not the best time, I guess. Uh, I still don't have an answer to this, even though I should have an answer to this. I still don't have an answer. Okay, let's forget about it, Lee. It's good. Okay, and I apologize if I misquoted you. If I misunderstood you. It's hard sometimes with this. I thought you meant that he played lead guitar. Maybe I made a mistake. I didn't realize. Okay. Let's just forget about it. There's too much good stuff. Look, let's focus on the good. You know what I mean? I see Woodland Goblin. Woodland Goblin is here. Woodland Goblin needs a cold shower, so he's in a timeout. Okay. That's an old tradition. I don't know if any of you know that. Some of you newbies here don't know that that's a tradition. You know what I mean? Well, actually, he lost. I know he lost some weight. He lost weight since his treatment, but actually, I think he looks good. So far. I mean, he's always been kind of skinny, but somebody said this. I wonder who it was. That sounds very familiar. That sounds very familiar. By the way, Woodland Goblin, if he's still listening, he's a good sport about this. It's a little joke we have, but he's not. He's just asking somebody a question. Who's your favorite Beatle? Is not a bad thing. I'm just saying. You know, it's the thing we do. Whenever he gets too chummy with the women, I always say, "Dad, get a cold shower." It's a joke. As a longtime Beatle fan, how often do you see yourself revisiting the new mixes of Red and Blue after they're out for a while? I like them. I like both of them. I'll probably play them fairly frequently. I think on long trips, if I want to hear Beatles on long trips or something, I think I'll take the Red and the Blue albums. But I think that when the official the official early albums come out in the new sets, whenever they do "Please Please Me" with the Beatles, "A Hard Day's Night," Beatles for Sale, etc., Help, Rubber Soul, I'll probably be listening to those full albums more, probably. So yeah, there you go. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I would like to know who Lynette's favorite Beatle is too. If Lynette's still listening, I'd like to know. Anybody, I like to know what their favorite Beatle is. It's just, I was narrowing it down. I was getting rid of some vinyl, then I stopped, and now I'm buying more vinyl. It's the curse of vinyl collecting. It just is. I made videos before about vinyl addiction, and how like I was addicted to collecting vinyl and this and that and the other thing, and then I stopped and I beat the addiction. I beat it like a heroin addict, and now I'm back to it a little bit. It's weird. Is Ringo still worth seeing live? Absolutely. Ringo puts on a good show and he's in good form for his age. Absolutely. I do have the original CD releases. Ah, there it is. Woodland Goblin's gonna be happy. Favorite Beatles, Paul, of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. Yeah, I guess these days it's of course about of course. Yeah. Thoughts on Best Buy discontinuing physical media? I think they're assholes and I think they suck for doing that. Having said that, it doesn't mean anything. A lot of people think that just because they're not stocking physical media in stores anymore, that nobody wants physical media. They're not stocking it because nobody wants it. Baloney. It's all online. You can go to Best Buy online or Target online or Amazon online, and they're still selling in the billions or millions. People still want physical media. They're just not carrying it in stores. Do you think they'll reissue the one album at some point with Now and Then on, as it now qualifies? Um, that would be interesting. I think that would be interesting. Yeah, but people say you can't really fit it on there. You can't. There's not enough space to fit that on there. I knew it. I was gonna say. I bet you she likes either Paul or George. Everybody likes Paul or George the best, so I figured it would be one or the other. Um, I was asked this question before, somewhere. In a way, I miss Blockbuster. Yes, I like the idea of going to Blockbuster and renting a movie, but that's more for nostalgia reasons. I nostalgically miss Blockbuster. But like I said, I've got nothing against streaming movies just as a way to rent them. If you want to see a movie you've never seen, I got nothing against movies on demand or streaming or watch it on YouTube just to see the movie. When it comes to actually wanting to own the movie, if you want to own it, then I want a physical copy. So there you go. Uh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I told you this. You didn't believe me. You didn't believe me. I told you that if you ask people who their favorite Beatle is in 2023, 7 or 8 out of 10 people are going to say Paul. You know, and that's okay. And there's reasons for that too. Paul's just more active. He's more in the spotlight. Um, but that's okay. In some ways, Paul's my favorite Beatle. Did I say that? In some ways, musically, he's my favorite. Yeah, I miss Tower Records way more than Blockbuster. I mean, Blockbuster's mostly a nostalgic thrill. I kind of miss them nostalgically, but as far as actually purchasing stuff, I miss Tower way more. I agree 100% with this. John's my favorite Beatle. However, Paul has been a great steward for their legacy in a way that John and George wouldn't have been. This is true. This is true. I got to say that. That's well put, Mister J Buzz. I mean, I think that if it had been Paul that was killed, I don't think John and George would have carried the torch as well at all. We don't know. We're only going again, like I always say, we're only going by how we remember them, how they were at the time. We don't know how they might have changed. They may have changed. Uh, Band on the Run was the first release that got us an archive set. Band on the Run. It wasn't a big box back then. They were doing like hardcover books or something with the CDs in it. So anyway, they did. That was the first archive they did was Band on the Run. There were zero CDs in the Targets I went to recently. Pathetic, pathetic. Relatively few vinyl too. Pathetic. Yeah, returning a blockbuster was a pain, but if you had a cycle where you were going to always re-rent, if you're always going to rent, return, and re-rent, then it wasn't a wasted trip, you know. Hey, there he is. Goblin's back after a cold shower. Feeling better, Woodland? I heard they might get rid of CDs, replacing with this stick. You put in a computer. I'll give them a stick. They could stick something else. I'm sorry. Stick this. No, seriously, it's ridiculous for God's sake. And it's so easy to lose. The smaller they make things, a stick, a little card, a little SIM card, whatever, you lose these things. There you go. If I choose Beatles songs I love, they're typically Paul's. His style is the most interesting with songwriting, in my opinion. Well, I wouldn't agree with you there. To each their own. But yeah, I think John's songs are more interesting lyrics anyway, lyrically anyway. But I'm always interested in hearing everybody's opinion. So anybody else want to chime in, please do. Look, I'm not going to. I think you're asking me the same questions over and over. I've answered this before. I think, really, come on. Favorite Disney movie? Get Back. How's that? I mean, really. Remember mini CDs? Oh no, I had one. I had one handy here. Mini CD. Yeah, that failed quickly. They're too small. You know. Yeah, Marcus is a John fan. In all fairness. Exactly, exactly. That's how I feel about it. John's Beatles songs were more adventurous, while Paul was still doing "Good Day Sunshine" and "Here, There, and Everywhere" and "For No One." John was moving to She Said," "Dr. Rob," and "Tomorrow Never Knows." Now, of course, let's not forget, though, in fairness to Paul, it was his tape loops, Paul's tape loops, that were on "Tomorrow Never Knows." But that's how I feel about it. I mean, I love Paul. I mean, Paul. I still say Paul McCartney, in my opinion, was the greatest songwriter of all time. All time. So, personality wise, it's always Ringo. Solo years, it's Paul all the way. But looking at who did most of my favorite Beatles songs, John. So, interesting, interesting. I don't know. Seriously, what? I don't know. What book said Zach? What is this about? Zach Starkey had a rant. What was it about? Okay, Eleanor Rigby. That's cherry picking. It's cherry picking. Don't you understand that? People pick cherries. Yeah, okay, here's one. I found one. Okay, that's one, but that doesn't negate the rule. Like I say, Paul McCartney did write a lot of silly love songs, great silly love songs. But yes, what he also did "I'm Down." He did "Helter Skelter." He also did "She's a Woman." Yes, that's cherry picking. I agree. It was very adventurous. That was one. They're really, I'm so tired of Paul telling the same stories in concert that I don't care anymore. I guess right now the current one is the "Love Me Do" story. You know, you know. Yeah, but I'd like to know. I'd like to know what Zach was pissed off about. I'd like to know. No, it wasn't a nice try. It wasn't a nice try. What Marcus says, I think he was 100% right. John was always more weird, otherworldly, and different, and trying to push the envelope. Always more than Paul was. Now look, we don't want to start getting into a, again, John versus Paul thing now, are we? That always happens. I agree with you. I think that Paul is the most talented of all the Beatles. He's the best musician in the Beatles, and I think he's the hardest working Beatle. Lynette says, I enjoy John's songs for the most part, but Paul's are more fun with more variety. Just what I like, I suppose. Uh, yes, Eleanor Rigby was very adventurous, and it was the odd one out there. Can't you see that? I explained that with the cherry picking. It's the exception, not the rule. Uh, what is this? I've had enough of misinformed no marks slagging off my mum and her mate Sin, and those lunatics who think Yoko broke up the Beatles. Well, I'll go along with the last part, but when does he? Is he talking about his mother Maureen? Who slags off his mother Maureen? I don't really know. Who slags off Cynthia? It's Yoko that gets all the hate. Have you seen the documentary Squaring the Circle about the guys who designed many classic album covers? Paul is in it. I did not see that. You think John was more influenced by George than Paul was by his weirdness and Indian influence? I don't understand the question. You think John was more influenced by George than Paul was by his weird. I don't think anybody really liked the Indian music too much at the time. I don't think. I don't think either John or Paul liked it at the time. Okay, I'm gonna have to make this come to an end, folks. I got to get ready to leave. So, uh, oh well, why not? Why not? Oh, that's a shame. Maureen got slagged by Patty for sleeping with George. How dare a woman? How dare a woman slag somebody off for sleeping with her husband? How dare that happen? Come on, come on. All right, I'm going to be going now, folks. Anyway, this has been a real fun as usual, interesting, a little tension at times here. Uh, I'm going to be doing this a lot of times, so just please stay in touch. Please, hit the bell for notifications, come back, and everything else. I'm glad we had some fun here and fun and tension too. Sometimes nobody needs a lot of that, but it's humanity, is it not? It's real life, isn't it? These things happen. I thank you all for your comments. Uh, of course, that's a good point. That's a good point. Uh, just reading this here for a minute. This is a good point. Let's face it. Patty's been around the block, and she's judging Maureen. Well, I don't know. Yeah, she's been maybe around the block, but when it comes to what's your friend's wife? I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. Can't you can't. Yeah. Um, Lee. Well, I don't love you. I like you. Come on now. I still like you, Lee. All right. So we had an intense conversation before. I hope you'll still hang out here, still watch me, and there you go. All right. So I wish that hadn't happened. It was just we didn't need that moment, but I think we understand each other, and it's okay. You know. So anyway, well, like I say, it wasn't. I still say it wasn't nice of Maureen to sleep with George. Okay, that's it. God, folks, should I do this every day? Is it good for my health? I don't know. It's fun, invigorating, but I really wonder sometimes. All right, folks. So thank you all. And the last word here, total misunderstanding. Okay, we understand each other now. It's all good. Mwah. Okay. Talk to you soon, everybody.